Is this thing on? Is this thing on? It says that we're live. All right. I'm just going to trust it. Okay, guys. Thanks very much for joining tonight. I'm excited to have my rival / buddy, Brad. Brad from the Comeback Card Investor Show is on tonight. First, though, before I bring him on, a couple of housekeeping items. The most important is that I now have fiber internet, folks. So I am no longer putting the AOL floppy disk into the drive, with the fan blowing and everything in the laptop. It's happening. We've upgraded to the 21st century. So hopefully no internet issues. And if there are some, they're probably on Brad's end. So blame him. Okay. Housekeeping items. Upcoming lives. Actually kind of a busy time. So Tuesday next week, Flipping Steve is going to be on the show. He'll be back. Wednesday, newcomer onto my show, Jennifer Top Shot, is going to be on at 9 p.m. These are all 9 p.m. Eastern. She's going to come on. We're going to talk about some Top Shot stuff for all of you physical cardboard people that love Top Shot. And then Thursday, I'm going to be on Andy, the Fantasy Football Card Quest channel. And on Monday, the following week, the 19th, it'll be Pittsburgh. I'll be on Pittsburgh's channel. So looking forward to all that stuff. Brad, they're saying that I'm echoing. So that means that your stuff is too loud. Let's go ahead and bring him on. He's already ruining the live.
That was the worst intro ever, Dustin. We rehearsed this whole thing. You know the script, and then you just totally went off script and just came up with your own stuff. But thanks for having me on.
Did you turn the volume down so that everyone can't hear you?
My internet, here's the thing, Dustin. Your internet might be stable now, but your production quality, I see every pixel of your picture. I don't know how that's possible. There's like 14 pixels I see that's making up your entire picture.
I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not. Guys, to show you how I'm elevating my game. So I have fiber internet now. I just got a new MacBook Pro in the mail today. I was thinking about trying to unravel it, have like all set up, but I was like, you know what? Something's going to get messed up. So I'm staying with my old laptop. So maybe it'll be a little bit better moving forward. We'll see. I don't know if it's got better. I assume it's got a better camera on it or something. Right now I'm on a 5-year-old Mac. So we'll see.
It has to be better than what it is now. It has to, it's like the upside is way higher than the downside because you're hovering around rock bottom right now in terms of quality. But you know what's great about your station, Dustin?
This prison cell white wall behind me.
What's great about your station is that you prove that anyone can do it. You prove that you don't have to have the fancy camera or the fancy microphone or look into the lens. You can do it no matter what. As long as you start and pump out hourly content on cards, you'll make it.
Guys, if you're thinking about starting a channel, all you have to do is just literally put content out every 15 minutes, and it's going to work. It's going to work.
Hey, guys, I just had lunch, and so let's talk about cards, and I'll see you at my mid-afternoon snack.
I'm the equivalent of that guy that's on Facebook that takes a picture of breakfast, sends it, post, and then goes, walking the dog, post.
Dustin, you're the only person Gary V would say, dude, calm down. Not so much. Not so much.
Yeah, Apple. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gary V's like, hey, man, I know I said make more content, but this is really pushing it.
When do you breathe?
My family comes up the stairs. I'm like, who are you guys? I don't even know. I don't remember who you are. Anyway. All right. Well, tell us about.
I guess we should talk about cards at some point, right?
Well, let's first dig into LA. So, you're living the big life. Does anyone still live there? Or has everyone moved out to the burbs?
Okay, so it was super quiet here all during quarantine and literally the last week, and especially today, I'm seeing traffic like before. So it's starting to open. It's opened up a decent amount, but the reason why I look at that and it makes me think of cards is that, like I was telling you right before, is I really believe June and July will be incredible travel months. And I'm wondering how much money will leave cards because people haven't had a vacation in 2 years. They've been stuck in the house with their kids and their family and all this, and everyone needs a vacation. How much of that will be diverted away from cards? So
Speaking of travel, is your girlfriend ever going to come visit you, or is she going to stay in Germany?
Dude, here's the thing. It's ridiculous. She was in Germany. Her father died last year, so she went there.
Wow.
She got.
I feel bad now. Sorry.
Well, it's all good. I mean, but she got and then she tried going to Canada to come back to the U.S. via Canada. She got COVID, and she's still in the hospital from COVID, and so I can't go there. Yeah, I mean, it's like worst year I could imagine her having. But it's been like a long time. It's been like a year, literally since right before starting this YouTube channel since I've seen her. So I know that's like a TMI. I think that's too much information, but seriously.
This one actually stings a little bit, big boy. But I hear you. Actually, you're not wrong though. That's the thing. You're not wrong. But that one stings. That one got me a little bit.
Gotcha. And I saw a comment here by Peter. The Frank and Son show is one I haven't been to yet, but if there's a really long line, then I'm glad I didn't go, because the other one in Westminster is very easy to get into, and it's a very good show. But anyway, so things are opening up here in LA. It's way better than before, but that is something I was concerned about is money. Are people going to take a temporary break from the amount of money they're spending on cards when June comes? Because when school is out, how much do you really want to buy cards when the weather's warm and you can travel for the first time and everyone's needing some sort of, and maybe it's not vacation, it's going to movies, it's eating out more, it's staycations, it's going to a little trip here on the weekend. Like, that's just my thought process. So I wanted to pass that on, because I'm just seeing way too many, or way more tourists now than before.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And I think we've talked about this. I think we'll be ready to buy when that does happen. I mean, I think a lot of people have been kind of waiting for that. A lot of people have been like, look, prices have been sky high for 18 months. Now it's time now the bargain bin is, although what's funny is like what's considered a bargain now is still probably double, triple what a lot of the stuff was, 2 years ago.
Well, that's the big question is, let's say a lot of people take a break from cards over June and July, and so it would soften, but then you have another 50,000 people entering the hobby from different parts of the world or different parts of the country, and then it balances out. So I don't know what the answer is. It was just something I thought of. But when I'm putting together this calendar to try and piece together what the next couple months will look like in terms of dates and in terms of card prices, could they go up because of Olympics? Could they go down because it's being forgotten about? Like, what could happen based on all this? And that's the one unknown, is that if people flood into the hobby from other countries or even within the US and it balances out, then that's fine. But if it doesn't grow super fast and people are spending money elsewhere, as they should, because now things are actually open and the weather is warm, then it could be a great buying opportunity. Because when school's back, I would imagine September, people have gotten the travel out of their system. Football season's here. We're looking forward to the next basketball and hockey season. I think that's when there might be chances to get cards for half off or more during those summer months, just to sell before the next season.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, and I've talked about this on my channel. We both talked about it. Actually, Brad was talking about a card that he was bidding on. I won't say what it is. I'm gonna bid on that card and probably win it. But anyway, Brad's trying to get this card. But the thing that we were talking about that's such a struggle is I'm kind of paralyzed by the fact that there's millions of cards at PSA and not knowing where they all fall. In that,
hair. I just got out of the shower. Go on, Dustin. I'm sure it's important.
If you want to step away and throw some product in there or something, feel free, because it's really.
Would you mind?
I'm distracted.
It's okay.
It looks weird. All right. So we're trying to figure out like what's going to hit the pop report. So we're trying to figure out like which cards should we buy now and which cards should we just wait a few months because supply is going to go up, or is it just going to be like that card will be there? So for me, I've been kind of reconfiguring a lot of my thinking over the last couple of months, but we can dig more into that. What are your thoughts, Brad? Have you switched your philosophy at all with PSA and all that, or no?
Not based on the suspension, but here's the thing. So I'm on CompC a lot, right? You know that. And I've learned a lot of the lessons about supply and demand from the whole market just based on CompC. So before I would be going on CompC and buying 2019 and 2020 rookies because I thought it would be cheap, only for someone to upload 50 of them a week later, all at a much lower price. So all of that turns me off of new product. And it's kind of the same with PSA or any grading company where I'm like, look, I just don't know how much is out there. Because if you think about it, if this is just supply and demand, well, the demand side is hard enough, right? The demand side is like, when will people want it? Will this player actually be good? What will the demand for this card really be versus another rookie card? And then now we don't even know what the supply is because, it turns out there's 40,000 LaMelo Ball Prism PSA 10s that are going to, be out there. Well, that's a big deal. So the more I do this, the more I feel like even on these $3 and $5 rookie cards that someone uploads and now they're $1.50, and I'm like, damn, they're $1.50 and there's 300 of them on CompC. The more I just want to focus on 2018 and before, and then maybe dabble in 2019, but it's just too crazy. It's dust in the wind, right? It's dust in the wind.
Dust in the wind. Actually, and let me throw out an example of this that's very real world between me and Brad, actually. So I bought maybe 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, I bought a Tom Brady 2013 Select Base PSA 10. Part of the reason why I bought that card is because there's 35 10s on the pop report. There's only 35. It's first year Select. It's the GOAT. I hate to say that. It kills me inside to say it with Breeze, being a Saints fan.
Well, Drew is like the donkey, the ass, right? We got the GOAT, you got the ass.
Or the horse or something. We got something, but we don't have the GOAT.
Well, now you have the ass and Jameis Winston. There you go. That's
we're getting off. You're moving us off topic. Okay. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So I texted Brad and I said, actually, I sent the picture because they're Bucks fans. I sent it to Andy. I sent it to Brad. And Brad's like, oh, yeah, I bought like 40 of those a year ago for like $5 each or something. I'm like, and they're all at PSA. I'm like, damn it. But the thing is there's 35 of them. So Brad, and I said, Brad, how many realistically are going to get 10s? I know that none of them are going to be 10s because Brad was the one that looked over it. So I'm probably fine. But
I have this self-sabotaging habit I got to stop doing. I just accidentally scratch all the cards because I don't feel worthy of a 10. Like, just 6.5. It's good.
I saw that. I saw the Kobe video, so I know they're all 7s. Okay.
And I'll still make a profit. It's called buying low.
Well, how you're going to profit is I'm going to buy all of them because I want Tom Brady stuff. But but that was my thing is and that's one. That's Brad. That's one person in the hobby that's got 40 of them at PSA. So, there's only 35 10s, but in a year, are there going to be 10,000? Probably not. There's probably not going to be 10,000, but I just don't know, what's that going to look like?
So, just off of that, my thought process would be how many Prism PSA 10s from 2012 are there? And I expect that to grow as well. But how many of those are out there? And more than likely, Select will be less. But my thought process would be all right, if there's 2,000 Prism PSA 10 Tom Brady's from the first year Prism, maybe there's going to be 1,500 or so Selects. But I would never base it off of 35 or 50 or 100 or 200 because what's the backlog now? Is it 10 million? Because I heard a number up to 10 million, which scares the hell out of me because 10 million is like a 5th-year Anderson Varejao. It's
and I can't get enough of those, frankly.
Yeah. I got a couple to sell.
No, I know. I've moved a lot. I'll talk about it more on a video tomorrow probably, but a lot of numbered cards for me. A lot of numbered graded cards is kind of the route that I'm going because it's really the only protection at this point because it's you don't know print runs. You don't know what's at PSA or at BGS or at SGC for that matter. Or HGA, name it, there's a zillion slabs coming. So, so that's where I'm at. Let's seg in. Well, did you want to throw in one last thought there?
Well, yeah, one more thing. So I bought a Patrick Mahomes rookie card in PSA 8, and it was $1,200, which if I look at the charts, it was actually a pretty good price. However, my concern is that we're talking about new cards going to PSA and then coming back in the next year and it being really high. But the other thing we were discussing is that PSA 8s of top cards are now actually worth grading. So now I'm thinking to myself, well, what would Patrick Mahomes' Prism Silver rookie card pop report go up to over the next year? And I would imagine 99% of the 10s of the quality are already out there. I can't imagine many 10s are lingering out there raw. 9s, maybe a few, but how many 8s and how many 7s are just going to hit PSA and are waiting to come back? And I imagine a lot of 8s are going to come back and below that grade. So my theory is, if it's a very high-end rookie card like Charles Barkley or Hakeem Olajuwon or any of these guys, because now an 8 and a 7 and those grades are actually worth more than raw in many cases, I want to stick to 9s and 10s of certain cards to at least kind of hedge against the pop reports going through the roof, because I don't want to be buying anything assuming it's a low pop if that could go up. But, with 10s, especially of rookie cards that were worth something a year ago or 2 years ago, I feel pretty confident there.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on the card. I mean, you like the one you're talking about, that 17 Mahomes Silver Prism, that is well known to have surface issues. There's a dimple over his right shoulder that's really, really typical on that card. I was selling raw copies of that for $300, thinking like I was doing great on those. I'd probably sold 4 copies at about $300 when I'd bought them for about $100 before everything kind of exploded. So yeah, I think that you're right for that particular card. That's a very difficult 9 and 10, that Mahomes card.
Right.
So I hope that you're right, Will. I mean, I hope that you're right that I saw Big Boy and Will kind of talking about, don't be too concerned with pop counts, especially for some of the older stuff. And that is true. I mean, I'm trying to avoid that newer stuff if I can help it. Like if there's a player I really like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait on it, unless it's like a timing thing where maybe it's good to get it now. But I'm trying to also get colored stuff and not base if I can help it, if it's going to be new.
Yeah, and I saw a comment there about Big Boy, and I had Big Boy Cards and Collectibles talk about Nikola Jokic, and I bought several of his raw rookie cards in October, November, and of course he had a great year, or was having a great year, and that turned out to be one of my best investments. But after seeing what happened with all the Zions and the Ja Morants, and especially Mosaic, which Mosaic was like the worst investment of my money, period. Just it was super hot, and then no one seemed to care about Mosaic. But after seeing that and seeing ComC getting flooded with all these Ja and Zion cards, I went back and got all the like Nikola Jokic and even Kristaps Porzingis and a couple of these where I'm like, at least there's not many. So if there is a moment where they do take off or they do well, I know that at least there's not too many, and they're not going to just triple in supply on ComC, just like it wouldn't triple in supply on eBay from someone getting the cards back from PSA. So like, I don't know, man, it just, there's so much uncertainty already in sports cards. I would much rather just go with 2018 and before, except if it's just a low end card, if it's raw and it's something on ComC, but it's not a big dollar amount. But the big dollar amount things, I'd rather go with older players and older cards. Because when you think of it, it's also players that have been around longer. So they have more of a legacy as well. So it's like, all right, you've been in the league 3 years, 4 years, way before the market was what it is. So there's certainty there, and there's certainty, or at least more certainty, in what the actual print runs are. So I'm not going to be like bombarded by 50 other listings on eBay overnight.
Word. All right. We're going to move into the next segment. We're going to switch things up a little bit tonight, guys. We're going to throw a little curveball in here, kind of do it a little bit differently than we normally do. So Brad and I have a couple of recent buys each, and we're going to just kind of talk about what we think about those buys. And frankly, we don't really like either one on either end. So we're just going to talk about it. I'll go first.
You go first.
All right, so I bought, and I talked about it on another video, I bought a Giannis Hoops PSA 10 rookie and a Luka Premier Level Select SGC 9. I shared this with Brad. I bought them both for $1,000 from Flipping Steve. He ripped me off. I'm just kidding.
He did.
I actually think that it's a pretty good deal. But I told Brad, and he was kind of like, he had some thoughts. So Brad, what are your thoughts? What would you have done differently?
Okay, well, pretty much the opposite of everything you do in life. Let me share the screen here. So because I mean, my first move is okay. Giannis, obviously one of the best players in the NBA, should do well in the playoffs. I don't think the Bucks are going to win it all. I don't know how many people have the Bucks to winning it all, but at least they should go pretty far in the playoffs. But let me share my screen. So you'll have to allow me to do this. Okay. All right, ready?
All right.
Click the button. There you go.
Did it work?
All right. So there it is. So there's Giannis right here. Funny enough, look at this chart of Giannis's rookie card PSA 10. This chart.
I got an amazing deal.
This chart reminds me of Deshaun Watson lying down on a massage table. Do you get it? Someone else is going to get it.
All right.
Okay.
Family channel.
Well, you have to piece that together. Okay.
Right,
so anyway,
right.
what I see here is, there was a spike way back in August when everything spiked. But then besides that, I mean, let's see, 800, 700, 800, 800.
It's about
800,
right.
750. Like it's very consistent, but to me, it's not enough. I like volatility. I like volatility because if you're not emotional, you buy, you're greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. And right now, I think if Giannis goes far and wins, or at least goes far in the playoffs, it'll go up. But the only time it's actually happened was way back in August. And we've had other players that have gone up and down over the last few months. So I'm actually surprised by how flat this is. And I'm sure part of it is because he stayed with the Bucks and instead of getting traded or leaving.
I agree with that. I think if Giannis look, he's played great. There's really nothing that you can say that, bad about his play. But you're right. If he had gone to the Mavericks, or if he had gone to the Lakers, or if he had gone to the Clippers, if he had gone to any team that's got stars around him, I think he would have had some more action on his stuff.
And honestly, I think it's cool that he's staying in Milwaukee for Milwaukee's sake. And because as an Orlando Magic fan, I like to see stars stay in the small market teams or in the small markets, because when I was a kid, Shaq left Orlando to go to LA. And it's funny because I left Tampa to go to LA, but it's like, you feel like you can't hold on to these stars because they're just big cities where there's a lot more opportunity and places to go and things to do. So I think it's cool. But does that mean that other people, like if you went to New York or LA or Chicago or somewhere else, just right there, you'd be in a more attractive market than Milwaukee? I don't know anyone that says, I want to grow up, I want to play in Orlando or Milwaukee or some of these other cities. Like, as an athlete, if you're not from that city, like LeBron was from Ohio. So that's one thing. But if you're not.
Milwaukee's beautiful, Brad. Have you ever been there?
I have, but it was very brief. It's close to Chicago, which is nice.
You got off the plane and you're like, and you just got back on the plane and went somewhere else?
There was actually I had a casting there because I think it's not Bell's. It's one of these places. I forgot, one of these like clothing department stores is in Milwaukee. I don't know what it was, but I just stopped there for a second.
Marshall?
Huh? No, it was something else.
It was probably Steinmart.
It wasn't, but good try. All right, let me go over to Luka real quick. So let me share the screen one more time here. All right, so share it. Click it.
I have to do so much work. All right.
Well, that's my guy right there. Oh, wait, hold on. Where am I going? Nope. All right, so here's Luka. And you said SGC 9, and there's not an SGC 9 in the system, only a PSA 9 and then the raw. So I think the raw it'd be somewhere between the PSA 9 and the raw. It would be SGC SGC 9. So let's see here. Peaked in August, went down, peaked in December, and now it's all over the place. But I mean, the pop report on the 9, 291, that's insanely low. And even if that goes up more and more, I feel a lot better about your Luka purchase, because the Giannis was still 1,500 of which, and I think Select has a much higher upside than Hoops, and it's a good looking card. So
Andy is saying,
how much was this one?
Send it to PSA.
How much was this?
Well, they were both $1,000 combined.
Okay. Well, either way, I think the Select, you have a bigger upside. Plus, you could always crack the SGC and then try and submit it to PSA if SGC crumbles.
That's what Andy was saying. And by the way, shout out to Andy. Andy is on Sports Card Investigator is his channel. Check him out. He's got some really good stuff. I love watching his channel.
I know Andy. He's a good dude. Yeah, very smart too.
Same with Ziggy No. I know a lot of you guys already know him. Ziggy No Sports Cards Daily is a great channel. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm having Ziggy and Andy on my channel in a couple of weeks as well, talking about ComC versus Star Stock, as well as the NFL draft, which will be just a few days later. So that'll be cool.
Let's go. Okay, so save those topics. Let's talk about your buy. And
okay,
I'll be honest, man, I'm not going to try to say this as nice as I can. I think that you're absolutely crazy for this.
Genius or crazy?
Yeah. So
genius
so Brad went in on some Deshaun Watson stuff. It's high risk, high reward. So
let me share the screen again, because it all boils down to obviously what could happen with him, but also the price you're willing to pay for it based on the past. Because it's like, I think what was high risk was paying $1,400 for his rookie card, assuming he would get traded and nothing bad would happen. So here, share the screen real quick.
Good Lord, man.
Click the button, Dustin. Here we go. Okay, that's yours. Okay, so here's this is probably the craziest chart I've seen in a long time. So we see here.
Well, just to cut you off real quick, the thing that's so weird about this is Deshaun he was red hot coming, like 6 weeks ago. I remember his stuff being on all the, he was all the excitement around Deshaun getting traded, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, go ahead.
So exactly though, because look, his prices have dropped down to $550, $600, right? So he's in hot water. He looks bad. It looks like he's gonna have to settle all these things. It just looks really bad. However, his prices now are way less than when it peaked in August. And August market was like way cooler than what it is now. But these cards, this is his Prism Silver 10. We're talking $1,300. $1,400. There was one at $1,500. If that's a legit sale, $1,500 and $16, and now it's all the way down here. So the question becomes: what were these numbers up here? This $1,300, $1,400. How much of that was baked in trade? Right? How much was it? Assuming he would get traded and then it would go up a little bit more, but the majority of the appreciation was assuming it would be traded. And how much of this is baked in that he'll be out for the year or something horrible will happen, right? Because let
this be a lesson too, guys. Is like, don't chase on a guy like, on guys like this. I mean, if you're chasing, it's even risky if it's goats, but especially guys like this, to where, there's all the excitement. Just wait. It'll come back down. There's other cards. There's other players.
Yeah, and I want to show Deshaun Watson versus Dak Prescott. And the reason why is because even though Dak Prescott is liked and respected and all this, when he went down with his broken ankle, you knew at that point he was done for the year. And so from an investment standpoint, it's like, well, you could buy his cards and then see that he is going to be out for an entire year. So you got to be able to hold it. But if you take a look at Dak Prescott, his cards bottomed out. $409 was the lowest one I saw before and this is knowing, and let's see right here, 484, 425. Even after his horrific injury, they still didn't really go below $400. And this is in October, which is a lot lower, a lot less money in the market than there is now. So I'm looking at it like, if people said that Dak, $400 or so is the price for Dak Prescott, knowing that he won't play again until August 2021. That's the bottom for him. I'm wondering, what is the bottom for Deshaun Watson, assuming that he's out for the entire year? And with more money in the market, I think that the bottom should be very close, even if he is out an entire year, because worst case scenario, it's like, I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done playing altogether. I think worst case scenario, he's looking forward to the 2021-2022 season. So for me, it's like short term, it's very intriguing because I don't know what's going to happen. But as long as I'm good long term, like the following season, I'm okay with it. But at these prices of $550, $600, $650, I feel like that's where it starts to gets to be very interesting, because a lot of the low prices right now of Deshaun right here, that could just be baked in, assuming that he's going to be out for the year.
So the one guy that I've been watching on this particular subject is Mike Florio, NBC Sports. The reason why I like watching Florio for this stuff is because he was an attorney. He is an attorney that just got into sports analytics. He's an analyst, obviously. But what he was saying as an attorney, can you turn me down a little bit on your end? It's echoing like crazy.
Jeez, it's still your fault somehow.
You to do better. I need you to try harder. Okay. So
Sweet background, Dustin.
So Mike Florio, basically what he was saying is being an attorney, what he's looking to happen is kind of a back and forth between the attorneys over the next few weeks. And then leading up to the draft, the attorney for the plaintiffs, I guess is what you would call them. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, he comes with a deal. This is kind of his speculation. This is Florio's speculation. He comes with a deal to the Watson camp to settle out. And ideally they settle out, and then maybe there's a draft day trade, or maybe there's some action around the draft. But he was saying pay close attention to the NFL draft. Like, there's probably not going to be a whole lot happening over the next couple of weeks. There's just going to be posturing. But then about a week before the draft, look for news on it. So I'm going to watch now. Now that Florio said that, I'm intrigued because he knows that business. He gets it.
Right. And here's the thing. I think people forget Michael Vick was guilty, right? He was guilty of having the dog fighting ring. He went to jail, and then he came back and signed another $100 million contract. I mean, if you are a young, talented quarterback, you will get multiple chances. If you are a running back, if you're Ray Rice, if you're one of these other positions, it's not as forgiving, because it is so rare to be a talented quarterback in the NFL. And everyone that's saying he's a piece of trash, if he's traded to your team, you're probably like, hey, you know what? He was probably innocent. And, as long as he can win us a ring, it's very easy to be forgiving when the star guy comes to your team, even if he has a shady background. Yeah.
I think the wild card too is then how long is the suspension? If there's a suspension, is he out for the year? And that's the other thing where, like, the NFL has not been consistent on that front. It might be 4 games, it might be 8 games, it might be a year. Like, who knows? So that's kind of interesting too.
Yeah, and I see Tal here saying he's waiting for Watson cards to hit rock bottom. My question is, what is rock bottom when Dak Prescott's rock bottom was $400 back in October, knowing that he's out until next year? And the other thing is, like, Deshaun Watson still could be traded. Houston might say, look, this was so ugly. I think we all need a fresh start. So we're going to trade you. You're going to be suspended for a couple games. But the fact that, like, not only does Houston have a quarterback that is getting accused of sexual harassment by 20-something women, he says he doesn't want to play for your team. So to me, I'm like, ooh, okay, prices have gone very low. He still doesn't want to play for Houston. It's not like, oh, well, now that I got accused of sexual harassment and I'm in all this hot water, now I want to stay in Houston. It's more like, look, I don't want to play here. I already burnt the bridges. I already damaged the relationship. So to me, it's very interesting. And I think no matter what, I'll be okay by next season, right? This year could be an entire wash. I'm holding these cards, but I really believe that he'll play again. And even if he doesn't, there'll be hype around him being traded and whatever to bring him back. So,
well, and I think the draft is an interesting kind of timeline because a bunch of guys are about to get drafted, so it's like the teams that are QB needy that might want to trade for him, give up that draft capital. Once the draft happens, they're going to draft that QB. There's 3 or 4 QBs that are going to go top 5 probably. And then what? Then it's like, what are your options then? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, okay, let's go over to the other pickup I got. And this goes back to the conversation we were having about, do we wait a bit longer for prices to soften? Because okay, well, I'll just mention it. My other purchase, I have 2 Hakeem Olajuwon 86 Fleer rookie cards, and I paid about $1,400 a piece for them. And I don't have it pulled up here. I don't know if you have it pulled up on your end, but I could always pull it up here.
Yeah, pull it up. I'll click again.
All right, just entertain the audience for the next minute.
Um,
One of your personal finance dad jokes.
You put me on the spot. I'm stuck.
What do you call a door that is not a door? A jar.
Ah, nice one. Nice one. We had a hot take about Andrew Luck up here. Somebody was said something about Andrew Luck coming back to play.
Oh, really?
I think he's happy in his retirement, though. I think he's happy.
That's been a long time, right? That's been a long time, though.
Oh, Alex, here's
Right?
the issue. I think, Alex, I'm going back here. Talking about cracking the SGC 9 Luka. Here's actually, it probably get a lot of attention.
Don't mess up. And I'll be here on the other end yelling at you the whole time.
It would probably get a lot of views and attention because I literally like crack the card and rip it in half, scream, throw it out the window, and it would be a complete disaster. So it actually might be good for ratings, if you will, but not good for my card. All right.
Anyway,
Hakeem.
Hold on a sec. Let me share the screen here. Okay. Tell me when.
All right.
Got it? Okay, cool. So this was the Hakeem. And so, I mean, this is just insane. This was just this climb when all the vintage, all the Hall of Famers, all the 90s people went through the roof. So I could at least see where this card could go again in the future if this happens again, which is $3,500, $2,000, $2,500. And I bought them here at like 14. I think this was mine, 14, 20, and 14. These were my two purchases, which obviously I would have rather been this one right here at 1,100. But, there's 1,849 of them. I don't think that's going to grow too much because it's a PSA 9, not an 8. And I'm not thrilled with the purchase. It was more like two auctions that I didn't think I was going to win, but that was my max bid, and it just went all the way up to my max bid. But at the same time, I realized that, with my goal being full-time sports card investing and content creation and everything else for the year, I had to invest more than I was in order to flip in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months to then roll it over again before the end of the year. And I was behind on that. So I've been kind of aggressive buying more and more higher end cards, while in actuality, I probably should have waited and maybe bought this one here at $1,250 or like waited for it to cool down. But the other thing is that Hakeem Olajuwon, I mean, the one perk about him besides his legacy is that I've heard Gary Vee mention his name. Right. I've heard, and anyone that Gary Vee mentions, if he says it one more time, that there's going to be a 24-hour to 48-hour window where people will overreact and buy that person because they want to then flip, or they'll assume that's a good investment at whatever price. So he has mentioned Hakeem's name. He has mentioned a couple others, but I thought that was like a little wild card factor. But I don't see a reason why Hakeem will be relevant in the near future. When I think of Olympics, Dream Team, he's not there. When I think of anything Kobe related, he's not there. So I would have much rather have gone with Charles Barkley than Hakeem Olajuwon if the prices were similar, just because Charles Barkley's on TV all the time and he's likable. And he's one, I like Charles Barkley, the commentator, way more than Charles Barkley, the player. And I feel like the more we're in that social media world and the more that we look at guys like Shaq and Peyton Manning and all these guys with personalities, the more that I feel like their cards can just become more appealing because we look at it and we go, that's the guy that makes me laugh, versus that's just the guy that scored 30 points and 10 rebounds per game.
Yeah, I actually don't hate this buy. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say like, oh, well, I could have got it at 1,200, but it's not, you didn't pay 3,500.
Oh God, no! I mean, man, no.
And look, if you need to pay the rent, and if they go sub 1,000, and you want to get rid of them, I'll buy both for under 1,000.
I wouldn't sell to you just out of spite. Even if you were the highest bidder, even if I'd be like, no.
I'll be like, Andy, can you buy these from Brad for $900, and then I'll give you the $900 or something. All right, we've got some wide receiver talk in the chat. Jefferson. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some interesting plays in the NFL right now. Who's buying the skill players, the skill positions, and who's buying QBs? Here's my thing, too, and I honestly, I feel like it's the same boat as last year, where I could look at a bunch of QBs and think that all of them are promising. I mean, you could look at Carson Wentz, you can look at Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield. I mean, there's a dozen QBs, and that's before you even get into the rookie class that's about to get drafted. I mean, it's like, where do you put your money? And that's where I struggle. I'm actually, and I've been talking with you a little bit, Brad. I'm not going to talk about exactly the direction I'm going because that's coming up in a video. I want to save it for that. But what are you doing for QBs? I know that you've been buying a lot of QBs, throwing a lot of money at QBs when you're not throwing it at Akeem Olajuwon PSA 9s that are overpriced.
Okay, well, look, so the goal is this. This is my whole master plan right here. Is I love buying off season and then seeing what I could sell for a decent profit when the hype is the highest before the season. Because if you're doing it that way, and I also have a good amount to invest. I've been like investing, I think 30, 40, 50,000, where I'm like, I'm going all in. So if I was only having $50 or 100, I probably would be more short-term looking for what could I do in the next month or two. But I'm like, let me just get a bunch of stuff off season and see if I can liquidate all at once. And the surprising thing was a lot of quarterbacks were actually going up in price compared to what I thought. So it was like, all right, I thought this was supposed to be the best time to buy NFL while everyone's focused on baseball and basketball and hockey and whatnot. And so I got Lamar Jackson because he had an MVP year 2 years ago and then up and down year last year. But the one thing is, if the draft is coming up, who needs the most help, right? If there's a quarterback that has a stacked team, like Tom Brady has all the wide receivers, a great offensive line, running backs that are good enough, it's like you can't really upgrade that. But if you have a quarterback that desperately needs other weapons, you would assume that that is what would happen in the draft or in free agency. So I like Lamar Jackson just because I looked at what his draft needs are, and it's like offensive lineman, wide receiver, second tight end, all these things that I would assume that they would take care of in the draft. And I'm like, all right, well, if they draft a top wide receiver, then his cards might be going up because of that association. But if not, going into next year, I would imagine that there would be more hype and more expectations out of the Ravens because they have this stud wide receiver or two new offensive linemen that are great or whatever else. So the first thing was the draft. Went heavy on Lamar. Obviously now Deshaun Watson is like, I'd much rather invest in Deshaun Watson versus a rookie because at least I know he's good. He's just in hot water, you know? So I would rather go that route. And then like the Patrick Mahomes, the problem with Patrick Mahomes is that his prices never really went down. It's like, he would have been the easiest one to invest in when the prices went low, but right now it hasn't happened. But with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple weeks after the draft, when NBA and NHL playoffs are in full swing and everyone is out of school and traveling, June, I think, could be a great month for football. I think June could be the month where it's like late May, early June, draft is way behind us, and everything is basketball, hockey, Olympics coming up, whatever. That could be the one window where football really, there's an opportunity there. So,
where's
a lot of skill positions graded too.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Where's your head at with modern basketball? Modern basketball has just been slumping in price, but I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, that's a good buying opportunity a lot of times. Have you been focused in on modern basketball? Or are you taking a break from it?
I mean, for me, like, here's the thing. I was splitting my cable TV with Andy, Fantasy Football Card Quest. He canceled it. So I don't have any cable TV, which means that I'm watching Netflix. I'm watching How I Met Your Mother, one of my favorite shows, and I'm keeping up with basketball via box scores. But I'm just so off season that my strategy, which I didn't really finish because I forgot to, is I want to offload football in July.
You're like the 50s kid with the radio. The background, like, I can't. Hey guys, be quiet! You're like knocking on the wall. Shut up! I can't hear my radio.
I have a cord running from my apartment to my neighbors. It's going up their wall, duct taped to their TV antenna or their satellite dish. But anyway, so what I'd like to do is buy up a lot of football now, whatever's on sale and whatever drops after the draft. Offload that in July and August, and then use all of that, minus whatever profits I need, to roll that into basketball. And that would be modern. That would be Zion. That would be Luka. That would be the first guys that people would turn to, LeBron's, whoever else that people would want to get before the next season. But we don't know when the next season is. And I'd imagine it's going to be November or December. But if the regular season is usually in October, and then last season was in in December, then maybe that they start the next season in November as they try to wean themselves back to the original start date. Because if it's in October, you have the Olympics, and then you have 2 months before the following year, like the following season. That's not a lot of time. But if I could offload all the football, buy up a lot of basketball, and then do that again, that'd be great. But we'll see.
Honestly, like with football offseason now, I'm kind of thinking like, well, I made a video about it. I'm sure you.
Of course you did, Dustin.
I mean, guys, I made a video literally while we were on this live. I've had a camera running. I've already got that posted. I've already scheduled out.
Best hourly content YouTuber out there.
You want content every 9 minutes? Tune in. I'll be back.
You're gonna get an email from YouTube saying, "Look, we can't buy enough server space. Can you please limit your uploads? You're costing us."
We appreciate it, but it's like thanks, but no thanks. We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're actually cutting the bandwidth. We're maximum bandwidth.
All right. So what were we gonna say? You had something of relevance, right?
I don't know. I lost it. You were just kind of yammering on.
You should do a video about that one time during a live stream you forgot about what point you were going to make.
You were talking about the Olympics. What are your Olympic plays? Because honestly, I haven't even thought about that. Or like, do you have any Space Jam plays? You know, I know you've got like different things. You're always thinking about stuff that I'm not thinking about.
Okay, so here's I think where I can improve with my own strategy is
it's going to be 1 second. It's going to be Jameis, new collector. It's going to be Jameis, I think, this year. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I think very far out. I think too far in the future, because I was thinking about Space Jam when I first got into sports cards in April of last year. I mean, I was looking so far ahead. I was buying Space Jam and Olympic cards for the last several months, and I've sold them already. Like, I think I've sold pretty much every graded Olympic card, and I sold it for like a good 2 to 3x profit, which is nice. But I'm like, man, am I thinking way too far out in the future? And I think overall it's a good thing, because if I can be in very, very early at a low price and then out pretty early, then at least I can make sure that I'm selling at a profit, and then I'm not risking people trying to get returns because they're the one that paid the most, because hopefully it'll be flipped a few times over before that happens. But I'm starting to think to myself, all right, maybe a year out, maybe 8 months, 9 months out is a bit too far. Maybe I could just do 3 to 6 months out and still be ahead of everyone else. But in terms of Olympics, I have a handful of Steph Curry and LeBron James 2015, 2016 Prism USA basketball cards at PSA. I don't know if I'm going to get them back in time, but the one interesting thing is that Steph Curry has not been in the Olympics yet. He's had injuries and he's had to bow out. I think Steph Curry will be in the Olympics for Team USA this year, because if not, then it might be it for him. And so if you look up articles where Steph Curry talks about the Olympics, he mentions, I want to be in the Olympics. I want to be in the Olympics. But the 2015-16 Prism USA card is his first Prism USA card, while LeBron's is 2012, 2013. And that goes for a lot of money. So I wonder what the ceiling is of that Steph Curry if he does indeed play. Maybe it's nothing, but I have like I don't know how many, like 10 or 20 of them, and I paid maybe $10 a piece. But it's one of those interesting things where I don't know what to expect from Olympic cards, Team USA, any of that. But hopefully they go up.
Yeah, I like it. You've actually done a really good job of kind of, whether it be Star Stock or ComC. I know you've done a lot on ComC. I like the video within your videos. You've got the rap song with it, Brad. You put all that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's called editing, Dustin. You'll learn it one day.
Nah, it's not. You don't need to do that. You don't have to edit. Just roll. Just
is this thing on?
Yeah, this is like the Truman Show. It's just like a vlog.
Hey, sports card collector and investor friends. Damn, I look good in that reflection.
I just stare at myself the whole time. Look, I can't get. I've tried it too. I've tried it. Now I've made so many videos that I can't get in front. I can't get my eyes straight.
Honestly,
I'm gonna have one eye going straight and one eye coming off to the right. I'm gonna look like it the clown. All right, guys, we're at 193 viewers right now. I've never been to 200. So if you can log into like how Brad has 13,000 subscribers, a couple thousand of them are like bot accounts, fake accounts. If you could just get to like 9
Sexy
more
Asian bots.
people
Yeah.
to get to 200, that would be really awesome. All right, question actually for audience. Brad Nolan mentions the 80s video game clips. This really just serves me, but when I love putting in the Mike Tyson's Punch Out clip, and I know that I use that a lot. I mean, videos come out every 9 minutes, so you got to, you're going to reuse stuff. But I just like that one, and I just like get a kick out of it every time. Is that too much, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, or are you okay with that 10 seconds of Mike Tyson's Punch Out? Let me know. If anyone has an opinion on that, just looking for feedback. Brad, I already know your opinion, so I don't need to hear it.
Yeah. That's the topic that we've resorted to. Oh, man.
Brad is gulping.
Great transition. Great transition. Tonight is actually my cake night, so I'm eating really healthy before. I didn't have this is much better to look at than whatever you got on your side of the screen. I will say I'm pissed. Look how thin that chocolate slice is. They really screwed me on this. This is usually twice the thickness. For $8, I expected a lot more cake on that one. So it was $16 altogether. But the point is that I have my smoothie first thing when I break my fast. Pretty much every healthy ingredient that's ever been mentioned in one of those Live Strong blog articles is in there. And then I have that, and then I can eat my cake.
Yeah, what Brad doesn't say is when he says fasting, he doesn't say he hasn't eaten in 9 days. That's why he's able to have the cake and still be 147 pounds.
It's a typical modeling thing. It's okay. I mean, we either don't eat or we just throw it up. So it's like one or the other.
Actually, this is a very good point, Corey. I did have a couple of the video game clips that went for about 20, 30 seconds. I had a Ghostbusters one. It went a little long, but I wanted the transition to be there. But you're right. It was a little bit too long. So I appreciate that feedback.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Dustin, but you could actually go into your videos and see that everyone just skipped to about a minute in. You could actually.
You know what, though? I don't believe that they meant to do that. I think that was an accident. That was just purely an accident.
In all 14,000 videos, it's an accident.
99% of the audience skipped over that part, but that was not real. They loved it. They loved it. Yeah. All right. So, Brad, I did a video on starting lineups a few days ago. I bought some. How many of you bought? Are you getting on board, or what's the deal? Starting lineups in the box.
I mean, look, I've seen you reference it. I think I've skipped those videos because by the time I started watching it, the next video was already out. So I was just trying to keep up with the latest one. I'm just not interested personally, but I think it's cool because, I mean, I have my Wheaties boxes. I think anything memorabilia, anything collectible is cool. I just don't have an opinion because I don't know anything about it. Are those investments, or are those just like, I want to have it and it's going to be worth something? I just have no idea if it's going to go up, but I'm just happy owning it.
We got 200 viewers, guys. Thank you for having your family log in. Thank you for having your parents and your aunts, uncles. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. That's the first time to 200.
Thank you for logging into all 6 of your Google accounts.
Appreciate it. Mega Man is on deck. Mega Man is on deck.
So wait. Starting lineup. What is it for you? Is it just I want to have these things, or is it like a strategy behind it?
Oh, I didn't know that was a serious question. Okay, so it's a highly speculative market. Obviously, it's a fairly new. Action figures in general. AFA and CAS are the grading companies there. You don't have 100 years of sports cards. Well, technically, you don't have 100 years of graded sports cards. You've got about 15, 20 years. So it's kind of a newish thing. Not a lot of them have been graded. And so that's kind of the deal. It's like if there's a rush on them, there's not many graded ones. So that's kind of the thing. I've got some raw and then I've got some graded ones. So I'm just kind of mixing it in. But it is also like a cool thing that I can display. My wife loves them. I've got them all over the house. She's loving it, man. No, actually, they're hidden in a closet on the 3rd floor. So, yeah.
Well, here, put that comment up by flipping Steve one more time.
Where I think that was a typo because I think that he was saying that she enjoys them. I think that's what he meant.
Yeah. It's part of an interrogation process. But I was going to say, I don't think that's possible because you'd have to have like 9 monitors to be able to watch every single video before the new one gets uploaded. So you have to have like one of these crazy setups and 15 videos going on at the same time. So
yeah, guys,
I did the math already.
When this live is over, refresh your screen because I'll have 3 more videos posted. All right, tonight is like the 4-minute mile. We're all going to remember this night. Hey guys, we're here. I know we're providing top-notch education always. Mostly me, Brad, some, but we want to bring some entertainment too. So it's all
yeah. Honestly, I got to say this. If it's not obvious, look. Let me shout out who. What's his name?
Good to see
MLB
you.
Vintage Card Collector was the guy that suggested calling the show Near Mint but Off-Centered, and it's a bit long for a thumbnail, but Off-Centered I thought was perfect because if you guys don't notice, we're trying to have fun here. I mean, we're talking about sports cards. We have our strategies, we're learning, we're doing our thing, but the idea that people aren't having fun and enjoying this and laughing over sports cards is kind of ridiculous. So it's a good way for me to make fun of Dustin, for him to take it because he's a good sport, and hopefully you guys like that.
All right, Hockey 99. First off, thank you. You comment all the time, and sometimes I don't get to them, so I apologize for that. What do you think of early 90s hockey cards of Hall of Famers, undervalued or valued appropriately? I am not a big hockey guy. Brad is probably more into hockey than me. So the guy I talk to about hockey stuff is Jeremy at Sports Cards Live. He's my hockey go-to.
And I know Hockey 99's on watches Jeremy's stuff as well because I've seen him comment there. Here's the one thing I wonder is that, look, I don't know what it's priced at now, but what is hockey's upside compared to the others in terms of hockey cards around the world? Because when I think of where the sports card market has room to grow, I'm like, well, man, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe and all this, and yeah, there are a couple of European countries where it could grow, but I'm like, maybe it'll go up more with the whole market. It's just, I feel like soccer and basketball and these other sports have, I could see those numbers really going up when China and when Australia gets booming and when all this, because they're already into basketball, they're already into soccer. And I just wonder how much more hockey can go up with the sport not growing nearly as much as the other sports, at least internationally. But maybe it's growing more than I think. I hope it is because I love hockey. I'm a big Tampa Bay Lightning fan. And I guess it's cool that I could live in the middle of, or I could live in Southern Florida, at the time and be a hockey fan, even though I've never ice skated and I didn't see snow until I was like 31 years old. So, it's possible.
All right. Bradley asks, Brad, how many Wheaties LeBron boxes have you wasted your money on? I kind of ad-libbed a little bit there.
Well, for one, Bradley, awesome name, way better than Dustin. And number two, I think I only have 4 boxes that you see there. And I might buy more, but for $4, see, this is kind of like the Deshaun Watson thing. It's so low that worst case scenario, I'm like, man, that was a horrible investment. Well, at least I got a box of cereal, and now I got a $4 meal. If it's riots all over in LA again, and there's brush fires everywhere, and it's destroyed, at least I have 4 days worth of food right behind me.
So have you eaten the cereal, or like is cereal in box? Oh, so it's complete with cereal.
I'm not going to eat that if I don't have to. I read the ingredients. It's like, what in the world type of chemicals and garbage is in this thing? It's like not even wheat. And it's not like wheat's healthy, but it's like, what kind of flavoring and brown number 6 and all sorts of weird stuff in there.
Hey, don't sleep on brown number 6. Tasty.
Yeah.
Chris, he didn't waste his money until they've expired. That's actually an excellent point. It's not a loss until you sell. So
and the good thing with Wheaties is that with all the preservatives, it won't expire for another 19 years.
Oh, 900 years from now, that'll still be intact.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we have? We're probably going to wrap up here fairly soon, guys. We're about an hour in. Throw anything in the chat. Brad, go ahead. If you've got a topic that you want to hit on.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's see. It's April 8th. What's on your mind with sports cards? What's your strategy now? Are you holding off? Are you buying heavy on something, like, without going into 15 videos worth of content? What's like a 30-second summary as to where your mind is at right now with the hobby?
I have a very singular focus right now, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to ruin the next 14 videos that I have lined up in my queue. But I am going to come out with a video here in the next day or two with it, and I just don't want to blow it. but it is one player that I'm just going bonkers on.
Can you tell me the sport?
What's that?
Can you say the sport?
It'll give it away because it's,
so it's not a common sport then. So it's not one of the big sports. It would have to be like UFC, boxing, something
maybe.
like that.
You might be hot, you might be cold.
So we'll take that as spot on. If it was basketball, it wouldn't be obvious. If it was baseball, if it was football, it wouldn't be obvious. But if you say it would give it away, it's got to be swimming, boxing. Well, I mean not swimming, but like golf, golf, UFC, boxing, one of those things.
Actually, Ziggy, I was thinking about doing kind of a vlog. Try to do this. I don't know how I would do it because I'd be by myself, which actually might be funnier. But Ziggy's going to go and try to find retail tomorrow morning because it's Friday at Target. For those that don't know, Friday at 8 a.m. I guess is the only time that they do it every week for cards. I was going to kind of video my experience because I'm not a retail hunter, but I was going to go and try to kind of video my entire experience, post it up and see how it goes.
I think you should do it just because I'm very curious to see how low the quality of production would be.
Brad, what are there targets in LA?
Yeah, but there's no way. There's no way. Like, here's the thing. There's way too many people and there are only 2 or 3 targets. It's not like out in 50 miles of here or something where there's actually not nearly as many people and a few targets. Here, it's like, I've never seen cards or a place for cards here.
Okay. Well, take the train down to the Target, the bullet train in LA and video it. That would be hilarious. That would be awesome. We could all release it at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to do that, but anyway.
All right. Or do nothing,
Well, you are going to, wait, you're going to the show, next week or in a couple of weeks and Ziggy and Steve's going to be there?
We're talking about that. Yeah, we're talking about it. In Virginia, there is a show coming up at the end of April, and we're going to try to go to it, assuming it's still on and all of that. Chantilly, I believe, is the show. But yeah, we're going to try. We're going to try to do it. I don't know. I'll be honest, guys. I don't know if there's going to be a national this year. I don't have any sort of inside info, but I keep hearing the state of Illinois is not moving very quickly to, I guess, like the bridge to stage 5. Stage 5 would be where they have to get to have a national. And the national, I know we're a few months out, but that would need to kind of happen fairly quickly.
Well, I wonder if there's a cutoff date for the organizers to say, look, if it's not by May 1st or May 31st or something, or maybe if there's like a backup in play. It would be great if they're like, look, we're pretty sure it's going to be open, but we have Dallas or we have another city that is ready to, at the last second, host us. And they already have the space and, we might have to pay more or whatever, but it's going to be something where the second we decide, 60 days later, we can be there and at least it's that. Because you can't cancel the card show for a second straight year, especially the way the hobby has grown. I mean, like, I think most of us have been looking forward to this since we've gotten back in because we heard about how big the national was from 2019 and 2018, which is still like a third of the sizes it is now. So, it's one of those things where I don't think they're going to cancel it. I think they'll do everything they can to make it happen or move it because I can only imagine how big it would be. And then maybe it's just for Dallas. Maybe Dallas is like, look, we're already doing this. We're growing all the time. We could just do it here. It's a lot easier.
This is why I need you to watch more hobby content. And Ziggy nails it because the basically like the national guy, the guy that runs the national was just on an interview recently saying that basically it's like Chicago or nothing. Now, maybe they changed their mind, or they could just push the date back. Like they did last year, they tried to push it to December, and then they just couldn't make it happen. I mean, maybe they do that.
That sounds horrible. Chicago in winter, I've been there. I lived there not lived, but I mean, like I was there for a month.
You modeled there for 3 weeks. You were at the Stein Mart for 3 weeks.
It felt like I was there a lot longer. Look, Chicago, amazing in summer. Don't want to be there in winter. Amazing in summer. Great city. I like it a lot more than New York, to be honest.
Brad and I were talking, though, and I would be down for this because they're starting to do so many more shows in Dallas, and they're fairly big shows in Dallas. If there is no national, we'll probably do Dallas. So
Well, okay, you heard that Dallas wants to. Did you hear like they wanted to do it every month, or they're thinking of it, or what? Wasn't there something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I saw it, but yeah, I mean, it seems like they just keep on bringing them out, and I assume that if there's no national, somebody will step up to the plate. Somebody will be there with some sort of a Dallas show or a Philly show or whatever, whichever state, Florida show, I don't know.
I think Dallas. I think just Texas overall, because you have warm weather and you have the middle of the country, it just makes perfect sense to just go to shows, even if it's every couple months. But I mean, if they cancel the national, it's like, Dallas, please just take it from here. Either if they cancel it, it's like, all right, fine, we're going to have the Dallas show. It's just going to be 3 times the amount of vendors.
Put it up just for a second. All right, big boy. I see you. I see you. Andy, Dallas, good barbecue. Florida and Texas they're a little bit more open. True. Dallas is every other month right now. What's up, baseball collector? Dallas is every other month right now. He's in Dallas, I believe, Dallas area. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's Dallas. Maybe it's the year of Dallas. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? I really have to pee.
I don't know. I feel like I've wasted probably about 30 minutes. I mean, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can probably wrap it up. Guys, anything else? Brad has to go to the restroom, and it's all about him. So
yeah, this is a lot to hold in me. This is a lot to hold in.
Brad's like, hey, you want to get on a live? I'm going to drink 2 gallons of fluid before we go on.
well, what's funny is that I drank it during the live stream, because usually I drink it before, and then 5 minutes in I have to pee. At least now there's like a 45-minute delay.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, guys. We are going to go ahead and cut it short. We are going to do this every other week. I believe if Brad, if he can do his part, that I'll be here, but we'll see how Brad does.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more professional on my page, because I actually pay for StreamYard's basic service rather than the free version.
Brad's channel will have a much higher production value, but again, as we talk about, guys, does that really matter in the end? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
When you pump out content every 17 minutes, it doesn't matter.
I've been talking to my wife. We need to have cameras in every corner of the house, and we need to be videoing, and we need to be posting.
Dude, Dustin, just a never-ending live stream. Just a live stream with a GoPro in your hand for 24/7.
You think that Sasha T's got a cool, Ryan the card collector's got his vlog going? This is going to be the never-ending vlog. This is going to be the vlog that never stops.
And real quick, Flippin' Steve, I see you in the comment section. I'm trying to tell Dustin to give me your contact information, and I don't know what's going on. So definitely hit me up. I'll give Dustin my email or phone number.
Yeah, please. I don't know why Brad needs my permission to contact Steve. You guys can just get in contact with each other. It's easy.
I'm trying, man. Steve, I think I followed you on Facebook, and I don't know where your email is. I don't know how it works. So me yelling at you with 200 people watching is the only way I know how to get through to you.
Steve, shoot Brad a telegram. Shoot him a fax.
Yeah. Send your carrier pigeon my way, okay?
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up, but thanks very much for joining, Brad. Appreciate it. Good hour and 8 minutes. We will be back in a couple of weeks. We're gonna keep it going, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it light. And yeah, follow Dustin. He's almost at 10K. If you're not already following him, which I did the math, and that's 1 subscriber for every 1.6 videos you put out.
Well, you know what it tells me? Not enough content. That's what it tells me.
Pump it up, man. In fact, why don't you repurpose this into 6 separate videos? That'd be great.
Yeah. The reason why, honestly, I think the reason why I don't have more subscribers is because it's just too consistent. I mean, let's just be real. It's just a little bit too much for some people, and that's okay, guys. That's okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be back in a couple weeks.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate it.